if you weren't ready, we're just rolling. We're already rolling. So like I was saying, I think so. What this whole thing, right? I think we just need a jingle with it, like you know.
Are you gonna sing?
Like I don't think I'm good at singing.
I mean, I'm not gonna claim to be good at it.
I don't think you. So. I've heard you try a couple times. It's not. I think I've heard you try. It's not great if I remember.
It's not. It's not great at all. No.
I mean, like Miss Executive can sing pretty well.
Yes.
Yes. But you got that baritone. It just doesn't work.
Well, it doesn't. It's okay though. Everybody has their, everybody has their own pocket. Singing's not mine.
I mean, I guess. I mean, like, but like, like this is just. All right, for anyone who's actually, all right, look, I feel like we should probably say what we're doing a little bit. For any, yeah, like, all right, so anyone who's tuning into this one, we've had a week that's been busy as hell, and this is just off the cuff, essentially.
Right.
And we just feel like this is our Wednesday video this week, you know.
Right.
And we'll go back to the normal stuff next week.
Right.
But this is the best we can do tonight.
That's a funny way of putting it.
It is, but it's true.
It's, you know what, like a lot of it's, it's very formal, and which is the point, right? It is the point. It's very formal, but it's not like, there's not very much, we take funny little jabs at one another, like I did in the Monday video, towards this guy over here, because you can't repeat something he said, because then he gets this God complex, like.
You can't say that.
I made a truth.
No, you can't say that, you Machiavellian asshole.
It is what it is. So we just kind of wanted to chill and, shoot the shit and whatever comes to mind, really.
I mean, I think a lot of our content, like, it's kind of about, like, just the conversation anyway.
It is.
And it doesn't really matter what the I think people just like to hear talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, like, if you're listening to this, just put it on while you sleep or something. I don't know. I mean, like,
or while you're driving into the job that you probably hate.
Oh, fuck yeah. If you have a job, I'm sorry. I don't have one. This is my job.
I have one of those and dislike it. Like, maybe that's not accurate. I don't dislike the job, but I don't think it's okay for me to say what I do dislike about it. So I would just not say it, and we'll go with that.
I mean, I'm gonna out you a second here. I mean, your job is just shit. Like, it's just a bunch of bullshit, and that's where it's at. That's what we're gonna leave it there, but it's just a whole lot of bullshit.
It's yeah, I'm gonna plead the fifth with that.
I'll say this though, not related to that. So I've been watching a lot of like YouTube this week.
Yeah. Like
an ungodly amount. And normally, like, when I'm home and have time to recharge, I would like watch Hulu or Netflix or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, just, put something on, really.
Right.
There's a fucking motorcycle driving by. But anyway, like this week I've just been watching a lot of YouTube. And so I watch a lot of Count Dankula.
Yeah.
Which is that guy who got arrested for the pug thing, the dog thing.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Salute. Yeah. All right, so that whole situation, which it's funny because that's how he introduces himself, and I love it. But anyway, I caught his premiere for his most recent video, and I know he's a decisive kind of guy. Like, a lot of people don't like a lot of his stuff because he's very like free speech advocate guy.
Right.
But
which is not accepted very much at all.
It is really not, and I feel like whatever. But the main point about it, right? He had his video about a tree that during, like, I don't remember what years, it was like after World War II, that almost started another World War, because like people were going to like, so okay, so they have a bridge in like South Korea, North Korea, that connects them, and it's for them to talk, like at this time, right? and they're supposed to like talk and conversate, like so that they can keep things rational at least somewhat.
Right.
And I'm summarizing his whole video in this, but anyway, it was crazy because like, okay, so we sent in our own people to help out South Korea because like we were allies-ish with them or whatever at the time, and we were helping them like cut this tree down because it was a blind spot for the war, and like they were worried that like, you know, because crazies. And so anyway, they went to go cut it down, and they got stopped by North Koreans who were like, you can't cut that tree down, that's like a sacred kind of tree thing. And like they were like, we're gonna cut it down. And when they went to go do it, they got fucking murdered with axes. Yeah, because like apparently they had this thing where they could only have 5 firearms at a time in that area. Yeah. Because like that's where we're at now as a civilization, that like we have to be like, look, we get it, you're an army, but like no big guns. Anyway, so they killed our soldiers and they killed other soldiers of South Korean. Yeah. And our response was to send in like, it was like 30 fucking aircraft things to fly over top, as like they had 3 tanks roll in, and then they had like just tons of soldiers, and then we had our like naval thing, like where that's landing strip on the water. Yeah, that's not what they're called. The landing strip on the water thing, and then so they had that parked on the bay, and like we did all of this so that like an engineer could walk out there with a chainsaw and cut a tree down. And it was just a show of power.
I mean, you know, overkill's a thing. It's a thing. We do it.
America does it a lot. Yeah. Like yeah.
I mean, win or don't.
Yeah, but you know, so...
And that's being facetious, but, you know.
So apparently, like, during the time, North Korea, like, really spun a fucking big story about it, too. Mm-hmm. And, like, said that we attacked them first, even though that was, like, clearly by the footage shown not true. Right. Because, you know, censorship's a real issue. And so all that shit happened. And the whole time I'm watching this, I'm eating Burger King. Like, you know, just because that's what I do. And
it's a good life choice.
It was not. It made me feel sick a little bit. I ate 2 Whoppers. Yeah. Back to back. And then in the middle of it, like I was just chewing fries.
Is it enjoyable?
It would have been if the Coke wasn't bad. Yeah. They gave me a Coke that was just like... It tasted like everything was right, but it wasn't. Like, I don't know how to describe it other than that. It's just, it was...
It sounds like a devious case or a diabolical case of overcarbonation.
Well, no, it didn't even have overcarbonation. It didn't have overcarbonation, didn't have the wrong amount of syrup, didn't have the wrong... none of it. It was a soda, but it didn't taste like Coca-Cola. Right. Which is...
You got soda swapped.
No.
That's what happened.
No, it was weird because it was clearly not, like, it was like a soda I've never had before. That was the issue. I don't know what happened there. I think it's because of the drink dispensers. Because, like, you know, like, you got Surge running through the same one as Coke, and then you're like, that's not Coke anymore. Yeah. Fuck, I love Surge, but if I drink it too fast, I get stomach aches.
It's the modern day version it's like a ghost of Christmas past or something like that. Like, it's not, like, I enjoy it. I don't, you know what? I'm likely not to spend my money on it. So I buy something different.
So my only ever drink of the real Surge was in a can someone else had. Yeah. They were like, I saved this from forever ago. Yeah. And I was like, oh shit, alright. And I drank it. And that shit was vile and yummy.
The commercials for that. They were awesome because like it would be like for no reason somebody's like getting in a barrel and they roll down a hill and they pop out and they're like surge, you know.
You know what? 90s marketing was just in your face.
It was, yeah.
Like, and I didn't even exist when they were doing all that, and I want to see it more.
It's I mean, open Facebook. That'll work.
No,
it's about the same thing.
No, I'm tired of social media. I got asked today by the Ninja Crew if I would. I don't know if that's a placeholder name right now. What do you think on that? You read that text I sent you? We got we got the Spider Bunch, the Spy Bunch, Spider Bunch. I don't know. Either way, the Ninja kids. They were asking me today about, where was I going with this? I don't remember.
Social media.
Yeah, social media. They're talking to me about TikTok stuff, and if I would get because I was like, I feel like I should get an account to just know what's going on. And they were like, that's how it starts.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, man, like, what are you talking about? And they were like, yeah, so like if you get, TikTok, you get sucked right in.
Yeah.
And
So that's not entirely untrue.
It's not. But I'm so unfazed by social media.
Here's the thing. So I have a TikTok account.
That's not confident inducing.
And I came across, and I cannot for the life of me remember the user or whatever, but he puts out these videos where he's playing like Call of Duty, like Modern Warfare or whatever.
Oh, you've talked to me about
he is making makes kills like that seem impossible to make.
I mean,
like I don't know, it's just fascinating. So I can't help but watch it. Like,
I mean, that's cool that you found something that you enjoy on that platform. But see, here's the thing. I remember when that happened with Instagram.
Yeah.
And Snapchat.
Yeah.
And I have neither. Like, I had an Instagram and it's not active at all.
Yeah.
And I had a Snapchat for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I just was like, I don't see the point of this.
So Snapchat was the swing back towards privacy, because Facebook made everything completely void of privacy.
It's fucking Facebook, man. Mark Zuckerberg, man, he's fucking doing shit. I don't know. Like, he just does math. I don't know.
Somebody somewhere along the line was like, you know what? Like this. All right. So Snapchat is like how conversations really happen between people. You say something and then it's gone. There is no record of it, and I don't know how it works now. I'm not up on it, but
I just don't like social media, and that's weird for the job I have.
It is a little bit, yeah.
I mean, I'm a YouTuber now.
Yeah.
Like, and that's weird to say. So I've been asked recently by a person I went to high school with.
Yeah.
What my job was. Because, you meet him in a Burger King. And, and I was like, yo, what's up, man? Like, because he's a cool guy. He actually is. So he has the same name as me as well.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there talking to him, and I worked with him at McDonald's as well, like back when we were 16. So like, he's a pretty cool guy, and I still, like, when he asked me what I do for work, I just said, I'm starting a thing.
Yeah.
Like, that's I don't know why. It's weird because I don't want to just say I'm a YouTuber.
It's kind of funny because people don't believe it, or they don't believe it's a viable thing where you can actually like have, a hobby that you enjoy and find other people that share it. But it's actually it actually is a viable thing, and it's quite amazing actually. Like,
well, there's a lot more going on with it than what gets delivered to the viewers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how many ideas have we had that we just didn't do?
Fuck ton, man. Like,
and they don't. It's not even because they were bad ideas.
No, it's just not. You talk it out, and it's like, wow, that's really not feasible. It's just not.
Yeah, I mean, we're running with a free software right now, right, for editing, and you do all the editing, and I don't even want to learn. I'm gonna learn eventually, but I don't even want to try. So I'm just gonna keep you locked in to this for the rest of your life.
I'm alright with that.
The
I
thing,
feel like this is going somewhere, so I'm alright with that.
well, it's definitely going somewhere fast, and I'm really appreciating all of it.
Yeah.
That's like, but yeah.
Beyond that, actually, it's enjoyable. Like,
Oh yeah. Oh fuck yeah.
because I'm not gonna do something I don't like. You know.
We were talking about how well we work together just like a while ago, and we fucking do. Like what it is you definitely keep my burst of energy into a coherent form. Like dude,
editing for him is fucking awful.
Dude,
just so you know.
All right, look, that one clip show that turned into a video. Like people can't tell that's a clip show, but it's just 400 cuts.
It is so many. It's
like,
actually all right. So truthfully, almost every video that you guys see is a one cut. Like it's a one take, right?
Right.
And very, very small amounts get cut out. And it's like, unless you're doing it, you don't realize how difficult it is to be like playing a game and talking at the same time about like a concept that is not exactly what you're doing.
Well, it's different than just talking with your buddies while playing a game.
Yeah.
Because now not only do you have to be like talking about something relevant,
right,
but then you also got to be somewhat like visually interesting.
Right. It is a little more. It's far more difficult than like in general people give credence to.
Well,
right?
when we play ESO together, and we're just talking.
Right.
Most of what we say is not a coherent thought.
No, it's not. It would be not. It would be more appropriate probably for streaming.
Yeah.
But not like structured content.
Well, it's like if you're talking about like streaming, the 7-second rule of like
Yeah.
paying attention.
Yeah.
And like let's be honest, we all got a little ADD now.
Yeah.
So like it's really like 4 seconds, and like there it's good.
Right.
But like the shit I just fucking spew.
Right.
On like random parts of the videos.
Yeah. Yeah. Shameless plug, by the way. We do stream on Steam, and I say shameless because it is shameless. Like,
you keep that pause in. That real dramatic pause.
It's not. It's probably not well known. There is a message on the community tab of our YouTube page that references that. So, like, if we're on playing, that it'll be from my perspective as opposed to his. But
yeah, because I don't actually like. I don't interact that much on that part. I'm kind of like he's live editing,
Right. It's live editing. I don't even know what that means, but
it's a word I said.
So
it's doable actually.
So, but yeah, that is a thing. It may migrate to some other platform. Currently, it's on Steam, but yeah, it's there just in case you're interested.
I mean, every time we play the game, like and by the way, to be clear to anyone who wants to watch, like there are never set hours on it.
No.
So like if you're wanting to see it, you may want to check it every here
I think
there's
a follow function.
Yeah, I don't know how it works because I don't learn systems, I just do. And that's how I roll. Like my mind, like we were talking about just a little bit, my mind just works in bursts of energy.
Yeah.
And like I'm good most days. Like I'm functional enough to get my day done. But not much else. But then like you have like, dude, how long is it like all right. The worst ones are whenever you're asking me to like, you're like, hey, all right, so you got the video idea done, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, the concept's there. Yeah. And then how long does it take for me to actually record it? It takes a day. It's a day.
It depends.
It's good. It's a good day delay, or it happens that moment.
Yeah.
And why is that? Because randomly, I just get like I turbo. I got that VTEC, and sometimes it kicks in, and sometimes it don't.
Don't go turbo. We've all seen Wreck-It Ralph. Just don't do that.
It is funny though. Cause like, all right, so like I have people I talk to outside of my like normal sphere. And I talk to him and I'm like, hey, what's up? You know, blah blah blah. And I'm just talking, and then just randomly I'm like, all right, I gotta go do things for like the next 2 hours. And they're like, what? All right.
Yeah.
And then like I just leave them on red. And then and they're like, all right, so the worst part about it is like I don't explain what the content is I'm doing to anyone until it's out. So like not my mom, not my friends, not my people I interact with every day. Like they don't know what the video is until it comes out. So they have no clue. Yeah. Like, and I've been asked questions like, what kind of video are you doing? And I'm like, it's gonna be what it is.
Yeah.
And I think they're getting a little fed up with it.
That's, you know what? All right. So, like,
it's funny as fuck because I just go, like it bursts out, right? So like when I gotta record something, I'm doing it that minute.
Right.
And if there's something else that's relevant going on, it can wait. You know, like I'll just do it later or whatever. It's something.
It's kind of funny. It's entertaining to me because it's a awkward conversation. I don't know if awkward's the right thing, but like it turns into an awkward conversation because you're like,
I'm a YouTuber.
I'm working on this YouTube video, and everybody gives you this funny look, and I'm like, don't play like you don't fucking get sucked into freaking YouTube and Facebook and whatever the hell else, you know, like.
Man, we all have our vices, and sometimes mine's just YouTube.
Right.
Like, you know,
I am
I can't
addicted to the exploring series. The SCP thing.
Yeah. Dude. Like, and they've been freaking me out.
Some of them are,
I can't.
Some of them very deep in your head, yes.
Introducing you to it was probably a mistake.
It's entertainment. Like, it's entertainment. When I have downtime and I don't have, like, anything else going on, I'll throw on an SCP.
Yeah, so, like, video. What, once a week, maybe?
No, it's far more than that. You'd be surprised how much downtime I managed to squeeze out of a day.
I mean, I think you find a lot of downtime when you're just at your job.
I mean, look, it's the nature of what it is that I'm doing.
Your day job is mostly just an editing area.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I bet some of the people you work with watch this content.
Yeah.
And, like, I hope it's not your boss. I hope your boss doesn't find it. And
So funny story. I found this out. A guy that I work with who's actually been featured on this channel. He's into tabletop games, and
is this
it was 30K or 40K Warhammer?
Okay, you've had this story already told on the channel.
So, our manager.
Oh, okay, this is new.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our manager is into D&D, so he plays Dungeons and Dragons, and I was taken aback by that. Because not very many people share that information, which I don't exactly understand why. I'm sure it's probably off-putting to someone if you're in a certain position.
It's the same kind of situation of like you don't want to, like if you're at family dinner, you don't talk about video games.
Right.
And I think that's kind of where it comes in. I think video games, even though they're accepted now, like all kind of gaming in general, even tabletop, isn't a fully accepted norm. It's just a norm within your group.
Right. It is. I know I have talked about this before. It's interesting how far along, not how far along necessarily, but like how much progress into being accepted video games has made in general. Because I fully remember, like, if you played video games, like when I was a kid, which is not as long ago as he would have you believe, but like it was like video games cause you to kill people, and I'm like, but I know how to spell words, and my pencil doesn't misspell words for me, like, you know. But it's kind of morphed and changed.
It has
into something else. It's it's far more acceptable. You have these like world championships for the different games and stuff like that, which I think is awesome. Like
I don't know if it's accepted as much as there's just more outlets for it.
There is more outlets. Like, not everybody wants to play sports. Like, okay, I played sports. I ran track. Like,
Right.
I took part in track and field. So, but like, that's the extent of athletics that I wanted to take part in.
Yeah. Man,
Different people have different hobbies.
I never once wanted to partake in any activity at school.
I mean,
All right.
Like I said, everybody's different.
Let's jump topics on that real quick. I fucking hate school. And I hated school from day one. But I liked some of my teachers.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of liked some of the people-ish. Like,
I lived in that same Veritox, yeah.
And it's not that, like, I liked a lot of them. It's that I got along with a few of them, and they had friends that I hated.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was my high school experience through and through. Was like, you got one guy that you're like, he's all right. I like Jim, you know, and Jim's cool. But then he's got a friend named Timothy. And you know Timothy just goes on for a while. And you're not quite sure what he says when he says things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all right, I had a guy in my school once claim that he had a Chevy Mustang.
Mm-hmm.
And he was considered one of the cool guys. And it kind of just broke my mind a little.
I would have immediately called him on it.
Oh, I did, dude. Every time I saw him in class, and outside of class, I'd be like, "Hey, how's your Chevy Mustang going?" Like,
do you have a Dodge Explorer?
Dude, I used to ask him if he's got a Dodge transmission in it,
Mm-hmm.
and like he would answer me clearly, like he'd be like, "Yeah." So what I did was I started going harder on it. I'd be like, "So how's the GMC like tires treating you?"
Yeah.
And he'd be like, "Oh, they're good." And I'd be like, "So how's your Nissan engine?" And like I just would, and he would just take whatever you say to him as face value.
Yeah. Those people are frustrating.
And you know what the thing is though, I will say this: anyone who hears that will know, and if they went to that school,
Mm-hmm.
they knew him.
Yeah.
And they know who I am probably now.
Yeah.
So I just outed myself to the 100 people that were in my school because I went to like a small school.
It'd be all right.
You know, the funny thing about it was, out of all of my school years, I think the people I hated the most were the people who were like just kind of dicks all the time. Like, and they always, all right, look, I'm not going to say anything bad about people who have money or parents have money.
Right.
But there was an indication that like some of these people bought their way in and others of us had to earn it.
Right.
And it's not that like we knew that, it's just that we felt that.
Right.
And it's not that it was even true. It probably wasn't true. But God, man, this kid had a Corvette. And like he'd park it next to my old dumpy truck every day. And I used to just snap. Like I'd be like, "Oh my God, I hate this guy." When I found out who it was, I had this whole talk with him about it. I was like, "Stop fucking parking your car so close to me, man. I'm gonna pull out and hit it." Like, and I just got tired of him because he was a dick in class. He was a dick outside of class. And then he just dicked off. Like that's what it was.
Yeah.
And he couldn't keep himself straight for a minute. Like he would just go off on some weird shit.
Yeah.
And no one knew where he was going. And then we all found out he was doing like, you know, drugs.
Yeah.
So we were like, that makes sense.
You know, it's funny because so many what am I trying to say here? So many members of the current generation coming into their own think that the problems of the world are different than they used to be, and they're not so much. Like,
no, there's always gonna be dicks.
Like it's kind of life, you know. It's what it is,
you know,
and it doesn't change a whole lot.
And I'm quite younger than you. And I say that even though I just made you feel like an old man for a second. I'm a bit younger than you by a fair amount, and still, like, I just hate 90% of the people I've interacted with in my age group. And I think alright, look, if you're a part of my age group and you're part of my audience, I like you. But I'm kidding. I hate you all equally. Cut that part. Or leave it in. I like these. Look, anyone who subscribed to this channel clearly knows what's going on.
Yeah.
The world's chaos because a pandemic happened and everything's falling apart.
Yeah.
And we think that the issues that we have are not the one. Like, they're not the issues.
Right.
And we're just like, I think we're just throwing things at a wall at this point and seeing what sticks.
I mean, that's history.
Yeah. Human history is riddled with some weird shit. Like a tree that almost caused World War III.
Right.
Like, we were all flexing nukes for a while. That's weird.
Yeah.
That's a weird part of history. That's a weird part of...
terrible idea.
I feel like if you gotta flex anything, I feel like nukes are the wrong option.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I get it. We bombed Hiroshima twice and we proved that we're not afraid, but I think we should be afraid.
Yeah.
I read something like a year ago about how the first test of the nuclear bomb, the fear of it was that it was going to ignite the sky. And they went ahead and did it anyway. Like, all right, look, if that was a real possibility that we were thinking, like if that was a consideration on the table, we've gone too far.
Yeah.
Like, if we're considering that we're going to take all the oxygen molecules in the air and turn them into fire, probably just don't do it.
Right. It's, we've established mutually assured destruction.
Did the Cold War ever end?
No, it hasn't. Not really. It's funny because we're going on about things that there's a good chance that like a large portion of people either A, don't care about, or B, didn't get educated properly about, which is no fault of your own.
Well, then there's the C group, I think, that the people who care enough about it, but also realize that there's very little that can be done.
Yeah.
And I think we fall within that more. There's an understanding that, like, the world's kind of crazy, and I think everyone kind of knows that, But, like, we're just gonna go with it now.
Yeah.
Like
find your place in it. There you go.
Or try. Like, it's more of an effort than an effort, establishment.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, like, I would say that this topic itself has zero to do with video games. That is our primary subject on the channel. And before we started this, I said, let's keep the topic about video games, which is so broad. Yeah. And then we started it with talking about a jingle and a war that almost broke out.
Yeah.
This is the minds of two men who are tired.
So you could, on a stretch, you could tie a lot of this back to video games, because there's like things that are permeating like games that shouldn't, in my opinion.
Look, just say it and get us canceled. Just do it.
What?
I don't know. Just say whatever you're gonna say. Let's get canceled. Let's go ahead.
So, like, the PC bullshit jargon. Like,
there we
fuck
go.
off with that.
There
and
we
keep
go.
it out of the video games.
All right.
Don't nobody care. I don't care if your feelings are hurt by it. That's me.
Yeah.
But, it is what it is.
You give me so much grief about being a humanitarian all the time. But the truth is that, like, while I'm a humanitarian, I also just don't give a shit sometimes, and I just want to play a video game.
Right. It's an escape, man. Like, that's what it is. You're going into it to escape the bullshit of real life. And some people do it in a leisurely fashion, so it may not be that deep for them. But
you do it when you watch TV, man.
Right.
Like, when you watch a TV show, you're like, all right, I want to get invested in a plot because my own life's plot line is kind of right now.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it happens, You gotta have an escape. Everybody in some way, like, people golf. People fucking get crazy about NFL. Like, and I'll say that they get crazy about NFL.
I mean, what's your vice, man? Like, that's the question. Like, whatever your vice
Right.
is, that's what you go for. And some people it's video games, some people it's podcasts, some people it's TV. It doesn't matter what it. Like, if you're golfing, I don't know what the hell you're doing, but at the same time, like, I appreciate you doing that because someone needs to use the parks. Like, we established 400 parks every fucking square feet, and it's just like, all right, someone's using it. Like, you know, look, it's funny because I live relatively close to a park.
Yeah.
And, like, sometimes
More people golf.
Right.
By the way.
And so, like, I drive by there, like, not regularly, but, like, sometimes I'll take the long way to get here. And the reason for it is, like, sometimes I just want to be lazy and procrastinate for just 3 minutes more. And so I'll do that, and I'll see them, like, golfing. And I just get a little, like, tinge in my neck, it feels like, where I'm just like, I kind of hate your sport.
Yeah.
But I also...
I can't do it. It's not for me.
I've golfed one time in my life because I don't remember who. It was some adult when I was a kid who drugged me to do it. And so I don't remember, like, why I was there. But it was mini golf. And I just remember the whole time.
See, now we're talking about a different thing.
Well, it doesn't even matter. It's just the whole thing was just boring.
Yeah.
I found no fun in any of it.
Yeah.
And yet everyone else was like, this is fun. We're golfers. And I'm like, look, man, I don't even know where the scoreboard is.
I'm going to put at the windmill.
Yeah. Look, when you're like, the reason you go there at high school years is not for golfing.
Right.
You go there with your buddies so you all can just, you know, light up and forget. Like, I hate my dad, you know, and like it's stupid, but you know, because you're stupid kids at the time.
Right.
But that's what life is, because you gotta be stupid before you can run, and so sometimes we just run stupid.
I think the saying is you walk before you run, but you know,
look,
I accept that.
I've ran stupid a couple times, and I'm okay with it. Like, look, I got given a truck at 16 that was like, it's an 80s old truck, and that solidified real quick that I was gonna run stupid. Like, I remember when I got it, I was driving and Mom was driving behind me, and I got out because one of my blinkers, like, just went out the day I got it.
Yeah.
And like,
that sounds about right.
Yeah, I just got my license,
and
I'm driving it home, and it just went out. And my reaction, I pulled over to a neighbor's like driveway, and then just went bang and Fonzied that shit, and it still has not gone out. Like, 4 years ago, I just slammed it real hard, and it's just like, I don't want to feel that again.
Yeah.
And so, like, you know, when you can do that, burnouts are only like a minute away.
Yeah. Yeah.
And especially where we're at, being more of a rural area.
Yeah.
There's a lot of back roads for burnouts.
What? Yeah.
And like, you know, especially when I was dating at a younger age, you know, you're driving a girl home. She lives out in the middle of nowhere. She's like 45 minutes from the nearest like Walmart. And like, you know, what else are you gonna do? You know, you're young and stupid, so let's do a burnout. And, you know, she acts impressed. And then you're like, yeah, it's cool, isn't it? And she's like, yeah, man. Yeah. And you're like, I appreciate you giving me that response because I need validation. I once was driving the truck. So, okay, if my dad's listening to this, I'm sorry that I never told you I did this. But one time I was driving the truck. So the thing was, I saw him the day after, and he asked, like, because I had like a leaf on it, and he was like, "What's this? Like, why you got all this stuff on your truck?" And I was like, "Oh, nothing." But like, all right. So what happened was I was driving home, but I was driving home in a way that wasn't going towards home, because I was gotten off my shift at work, and I just wanted to just forget where I was for a moment and drive.
Yeah.
And I was driving real crazy on back roads, and I drove the truck so hard, and so it's a sharp corner.
Yeah.
And I realized that a boat couldn't take a corner real quick, but the truck, what I did was I'm in the other lane going towards traffic, but there's no traffic on the road, and I'm at like a 75, 90 degree angle in a ditch, driving straight towards another bend in the opposite direction. And I was doing this for like a good 4 or 5 seconds, and I eventually peeled myself onto the road and then just drove on. And there was not a dent, not a scratch, nothing on the truck, just dirt. And that made me feel immortal. So sorry, Dad, since I never told you that, because I should have probably said something. But I was 16 and I didn't really care.
We're gonna call this Spy's Confessions.
Oh man, how many confessions do I need to say? Like, look. It's been a while since I've been to church, so I feel like if I'm gonna give a confession, it better be at least to the public. Because I was a menace, all right, and I was when I was younger. I was a menace, but I was a menace that was like stealth menacing. You know, like I wasn't ever gonna get arrested, but I was definitely gonna do things that were stupid enough for a cop to pull me over, but like probably not like put me in handcuffs. Like just enough for me to like bother his day. I mean,
you gotta push the limits at some point, right?
Well, when you're young, you like there's nothing else to do in a small town.
Right.
Like when you're in a small town and you're given a truck that is like 40 years old, and you just got nothing else to do. Like, what else are you gonna do? Like me and my buddy would just go to Walmart to walk around at like midnight. Mm-hmm. And like I remember we had like the carpets on our shoulders and we're acting like they were bazookas and like throwing shit and I never threw shit around in a Walmart, but he did. Like we got the lightsabers out and shit, like, and that's and remember, we live in the middle of nowhere and we don't realize it, but like we do, like in the grand scheme of life. So like you just got no one else in a Walmart. Like it's an empty Walmart at 12 o'clock in the morning. So like, and you gotta be at school at 8. But like, you know you're not gonna wake up. You're just gonna stay up. So you would just, you got bazooka carpets and lightsabers. And the people who are there working don't give a fuck.
No. Walmart employees are the most likely to not approach you.
Well,
for
not
any reason.
Well, not if they see the bazooka I'm wielding.
No. For sure not.
No, that's how you see someone's crazy. If they believe that the carpet they're having on their shoulder is a bazooka, they're probably not sane. No, but like we would, but that's what you do. Like, what else is there to do except tear shit up when you're 16 in a small town with an empty Walmart?
So you're talking about Walmarts and doing crazy shit. I mean, have you seen the? I'm drawing a blank on any particular channels that do it. But have you seen any of the videos where like people get up in like the racks or whatever and they build like a fort out of the toilet paper or some shit, and they see how long they can stay up there?
Oh my god. That,
for whatever reason, is hilarious to me.
Well, alright, so I had a buddy that worked at Zaxby's.
Yeah. That's a terrible life decision.
Dude, he hated it. He hated it so much, and he hated everyone he worked with. But I drove him like there to work every now and then, and like hung out. And like, remember, like we're 16, 17 at this time.
Yeah.
And since we're going on confessions, let's just go ahead. Like, we just got free food. Like
that's what you do when you work at a restaurant.
Yeah. So I remember like for a whole year, I didn't pay for one meal at a fast food restaurant because everywhere I went, I knew someone.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, you got anything for free?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, man, look, we like left McChickens out. You know, like we forgot about this food over here. If you want it, they're fries, but like they've been sitting for 4 days. And this is what we do now.
That's 4 days is irrelevant because McDonald's food doesn't mold or get old or anything. It's in the state that it's in. Once it's cooked, it stays in that state. It gets cold.
You know, all right. So I love my job. I loved it, McDonald's. And I hated it, but I loved it. The managers there, some of them pissed me off like to an ungodly level.
Yeah. And
then others of them made my fucking day with the random shit.
Yeah.
Like, you would just come in and like there's a 3/4 chance that one of the people I'm working with will be screaming at a customer. And you're just like, that's the McDonald's I work at, you know, and then you got the chance that one of them's actually gonna go outside and fight him. Like at any point, and one of them was a retired woman who I just I could not get enough of working with her.
Yeah.
She was the best. And she was literally she was close to beating people's heads in. And she's a manager. And I'm like, this is why we have poor work ethic. But I also want to see you bust his head in.
Like real fast food restaurants make people disgruntled. They just do.
Yeah.
By the very nature of like what's happening there. Because you have the customer come through and they want their food right now and don't understand that there's cook time, which I understand that most of them are set up for like, we've got stuff ready because we know we're going to be busy around now. But then they don't do enough, and you get pulled for like a fucking drink. And when they hand it to you, you just want to throw it back at them. Like...
Yeah, alright, so you worked in fast food for a while.
Yes.
And what, alright, you know the situation...
I had a slightly different experience, because
where
I worked at was
not the ghetto McDonald's in a small town.
It was a service-oriented, restaurant, so it was expected to be delivered fast, but... you sat at a table and had a server,
That feels counterproductive for the entire fast food idea.
It's
probably why it failed here.
It was more of a diner. No, it failed here because the guy that bought it was retarded. He simply didn't want to make the drive to the location, and as a result, he ended up closing the store. Which just seems lazy.
No, I always hated fast food. I hated dealing with people who they really thought that their food, their McChicken, was more important than the lives of our people inside.
Yeah.
I had people almost run me over while I was trying to walk in.
Yeah.
I made a comment to a new employee because I was walking up inside and I saw him and he was new, and I knew he was new because I never seen him before.
Yeah. Which
is our turnover rate on people was high, and the bullshit part of it all was that he was walking straight to the door, and I was like, stop, man, stop walking. He's like, why? I was like, cause there's a line right here of cars. And he's like, yeah, they'll stop. And I'm like, they ain't gonna stop.
No.
And he was like,
no,
they'll stop when they see a person. I was like, you're wearing a McDonald's uniform? To them, you're not a person.
Right.
And he was like, what? And I was like, it's camouflage. You're wearing that? They don't think that you're a person. I was telling him this. I'm like, dude, they will run you over and not feel bad for it because you're wearing gray. And you got the M logo.
Right.
You're done for. Are you going to open up your new headset on?
I am.
So, Jack, tell us about your new headset while I sit over here and like stop talking for a moment.
I got the so as you guys know, we've had some issues with audio, and so
I'm gonna grab more to drink.
I just went all in and got me a Razer headset. I highly recommend Razer products. They are, in my experience, built well and provide exactly what you're looking for, as opposed to many brands that are out there now, because there's so many I don't know a good way to put it, so many like knockoff, or not knockoff really, but like extremely generic brands, and they're just not worth it. They're not worth it. You'll own it for like 5 minutes and the mic will quit working, or something about it will stop working, and then you will hate yourself for making the purchase, even though it was only like, a fraction of what like a decent one would have costed.
Speaking of that, I have a question. So I came back halfway through that, but I heard you talking about the mic situation.
Yeah.
All right. So whatever happened to that gamepad you bought?
I play around with it every now and then. I think
we should, real quick, we should talk about what the hell a gamepad is.
All right. So
because most people, like, unless they were playing games in the 90s.
Right.
Like.
So, a gamepad, or the one that I bought, is... Alright, so a gamepad is like, it's a one-handed keyboard, essentially. And the point is to bind your keys that you're going to be using to it.
And they're mostly meant to like fit your hand, kind of like a controller, but not really. But like it's that kind of midway. Right. Like mine has a scroll wheel on it, and it also has like a D-pad.
Right.
So like you kind of get like a bit more functionality than you would with just a normal like setup like a keyboard.
Right.
And when I started using mine, I can't even return to my normal one. All my key bindings are set for that now.
Right. It's keyboards are, and this is it's likely my opinion, but keyboards are like, I just don't see them as being like viable ways to go about playing a game. They're very uncomfortable to use.
You just pissed off like our entire PC gaming community.
I mean, sorry, like the keyboard's flat, your hand's not.
Put
2 and 2 together to make 4.
Even though I'm using my gamepad now, I played games with a mouse and keyboard for like a way long time. And I'll say this, the only issue I ever faced was when I got my laptop, and that's because of the trackpad being off-centered in a way that's just wrong.
So...
Fuck you, Dell.
So I'm going to say this too.
Alienware sponsor.
I also played a lot of PC games, like, a while back. Like, I played Counter-Strike, I played all that stuff. It's still just not, to me, a good experience, because, like I said, my hands are curved, the damn keyboard is not. Like, if it's a keyboard, like for a PC versus a laptop, yeah, you got some angle, you can get, a wrist, like rest, stuff like that, but it's just not, it's not ergonomically, which I don't know if you give a shit about it or not, but it's not ergonomically, like, correct.
I think you mean
your hand placement.
I think you mean ergo, what is it? Fuck, I don't even know the word now. You said it wrong twice, and now I forgot how to say the word.
It wrong once.
No, you said it wrong twice. It's not that word. That's not the word you're saying.
Ergonomics, man.
No, that's not how you say it. Say it again.
Ergonomics. Yeah.
Your country twang comes out when you say it, and it bothers me slightly.
It's all right. I'm American.
I don't
talk like that.
That's not a defense, man.
Like Texas and shit. Okay, we talk like that.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the issue. I think So, look. Out of all of everything you just said, you didn't answer the question because I derailed you heavily. What happened to your gamepad?
So I still have it, and I play around with it. And I mainly bought it just to see, because I had never had one. I mainly bought like a lower end one just to see if it was enjoyable during gameplay. So I do enjoy it. I don't enjoy the one that I have because it, again, is extremely flat and just it's uncomfortable to play with over long periods. So there's that. I do intend on getting the Razer has one, and it is called.
It's the what's it called? It's the Razer.
Starts with a T.
Taurus.
Yeah, Taurus. There you go. So I'm eyeballing that one. It has some curvature to where your palm sits. It's got like a D-pad and stuff like that on it. It's just it's got a better setup for your hand, and the key bindings that I personally would want on it. I did come across an extremely weird looking one that I almost bought just because of how weird it was and to see if it actually worked. It was something odd, like move your fingers up and down as different key bindings and stuff like that. Like you had your fingers like in
that's kind of interesting. I kind of like that. That's kind of that's a weird concept.
It is, and like I said, I almost bought it just because I wanted to know if it worked.
You know what I really want to try? Look, when we get YouTube money one day, I would really like to just buy a VR headset.
That would be, yes. That'd be, so, and I'm not exactly certain how new this is, but I know there's some augmented reality headsets where like you can literally walk around and you have you have a monitor in front of you where you can be like watching a movie or whatever.
Well, okay, yeah, I like that. But see, what I don't, alright, if I don't have full motion tracking, I want to use my mouse and keyboard.
Right.
Like, I think it would just be, I don't know why, but I would rather not stand up if I got to. Yeah. And, alright, so I want to play, and this is weird, because I hate Skyrim fundamentally, but I want to play Skyrim in VR, because they have a VR version of it.
Yeah.
Only issue is, I know that fucking Bethesda didn't code that game right, because everyone who's played it says it's bad at it. And I know, yeah. I just, like, alright, can we even trust Bethesda to make a game anymore?
I think so. I think...
You can't use ESO right, because ZeniMax made that. Oh, look, you got stickers.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, man. Put stickers everywhere.
It's gonna happen. So, here's what I think happened. Skyrim, in and of itself, and look, I know, like, I bash it in videos that have nothing to do with ESO or the Elder Scrolls. But here's the thing, though.
But, like, fuck Skyrim, though?
Like, yeah, I went down that path in the Monday video.
It's funny. Like I think we're the only people that really bad. Like, and other people, they talk shit about it, but they play it.
So, I came across this list, right, of, like, top like controversial things.
Yeah, we talked about that
Skyrim.
one. Yeah,
the number one controversial thing is whether or not it's a good game, and I'm like, all right, look, like
if that's a debate,
we here recently have talked about this. I have purchased Morrowind. Spy here has Oblivion. He also has Morrowind.
I have Skyrim as well. Sadly, I have Skyrim twice on my Steam account because when we bought it the first time. Yeah. And then they made the Legendary Edition, right. And now you got two of them.
Right.
Even though my modded one looks better.
I do also own Skyrim. It's on console. You know, it is what it is. But
yeah, everyone owns a copy of it. It just you just appear as a child with one.
I bought it because I'm thinking, okay, Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim is going to be a good game. In the Elder Scrolls.
And then you found out that intellect and strength are no longer a thing that exists.
It changed how the game works. Like,
it's not the
that's
same
where
series.
the major changes occur.
It doesn't even feel like it's in the same series.
It shouldn't be. That's the point I'm getting at.
Like,
I think Skyrim, standalone, not attached to the Elder Scrolls series, even though I understand the entire concept of the game is in that like world, right? I think it would be a good game, but I don't think it is a good testament to what the Elder Scrolls is.
If you remove Skyrim as the title, and you removed all references to the previous games,
yes,
it would be a 5 out of 10. IGN would give it an 8 out of 10 because it's IGN.
Right.
But like, because fucking horrible game mechanics, 9 out of 10. Right. But realistically, like, it'd be maybe a 4 or 5 out of 10 if you like took all that out and replaced it with what made sense.
Right.
But if you put Skyrim and you put Elder Scrolls in the name, it's a 10 out of 10 perfect game, flawless masterpiece. Todd Howard is our God and Savior.
You gotta have. This is just my, like, I'm just gonna say it. I don't think this is opinion. I think they established it when they created Morrowind and Oblivion. You set a standard. When you set a standard, you better adhere to it, because the diehard fans are not gonna like that shit that you produce that doesn't meet the standard, right? So,
and you don't even have to appease the diehards that much. You just got to make a game that makes sense within the series.
Yeah, you do. And all right, so look. In the earlier games, like, you had to. We discussed this also. Difficulty in games, right? Like, cause there's this big thing going on with Elden Ring right now, where it's like, oh, the game's too hard. Like, it's a game, okay? It's a game. Play it. Get good at it. Like, figure it out.
Not everything's for everyone.
No, it's not. Not everything is for everyone.
Not everyone who wants to play Dark Souls really wants to play Dark Souls. They want to play the story of Dark Souls.
Right.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought about it a little more after that thing.
Yeah.
The whole thing, our job. I thought about it a little more after that, and I was thinking about it, and I was like, if you want to know the story, you can watch a Let's Play without commentary,
right, on
YouTube for free.
Right. So, all right. I'm trying to collect my thoughts around this.
Sometimes that takes a minute.
The thing is this. Like, there was planning involved. It's a game. A game is defined by, like being good at it, building skill at it.
A game itself,
achieving something.
It's the process of taking a story,
yes,
and then making it a more, I'm not gonna say physical, but that's the word. That's the only word that comes to mind. It's like you're taking what a story is, like a Game of Thrones or whatever TV show, and then you're making it a more physical thing to you by representation of like loot,
right,
and gear and skill.
Right.
So like if you play Dishonored, even though Corvo himself is an elite assassin, like you're not.
Right.
Unless you know what you're doing. So like I played that game recently-ish. I didn't finish it because I got sucked into Oblivion. Which
happens.
It happens every time I try to play a game outside the series.
Yeah.
I just can't get away from Skyrim. Todd got me. It's fucking piece of shit. That's what it is. Fucking bullshit. Anyway, it's even a Bethesda licensed game.
Yeah. That's
what makes me mad. Because like Arcane Studios did a fucking fantastic job, and then they got to show that logo.
Yeah.
Like fucking with. But either way, like I'm good at the game, so like I just fucking go at it. Like I was playing one of the first levels, and it was like I was doing like assassin-y build, but not kills heavy, because like that's how you get the bad ending. So I just wanted low chaos rating. That's it. Like, I kill some people here and there, but like there's a limitation on how many people can die.
Right.
And so one of them, like, you have to go into like this big circular fucking room, and I know how much you like circles, and it has like layers. Like, there's a top floor, bottom floor. I did that backwards in physical. Like, I raised my hand up to go down. Either way. And then there's a fucking circle on top that none of them can reach because it's like overhang, like jewelry to the room.
Right.
Which is not called, what's that called? Like when you have a painting in your house, it's a decoration.
Right.
Anyway, not jewelry. So I got really good at it. Where like I decided at this point that I'm okay with killing. Like, fuck it. I was doing really good, low chaos rating the whole time, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm done being good now. Let's just kill everything, but let's do it unspotted. And I was just teleport to the top of the room, and I would just fall down and go, and then back up. Yeah. And then I would no one could see the body because I brought the body up to the very, very top and then put it down.
Yeah.
And I was doing this like quickly, where like, boom, drop down, kill. And I was fucking really having a great time with it. And I was thinking about it, I was like, okay, like with that consideration, now consider if I wasn't good at it. Well, like, I'm not getting the story really then.
Right.
Like what I'm doing is I'm fucking up a story because Corvo died 4 times when he stepped to the left a little much.
Yeah.
Like, instead of being in the combat, like, I fucked up the story a bit for myself.
Right.
Like, how are you gonna listen to story moments when you're bleeding? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, if you want a full picture of the game, you gotta kind of play the game how it's intended.
Right.
And sometimes the intended way is that you just gotta fucking get good, homie. You know?
Yeah. It's, I don't know. I just, I don't buy into the concept of a game being difficult makes it not accessible. I know this has been hashed out, you know, but
Skyrim was so easy.
Like, a game being difficult does not make it not accessible to you. It simply means you got to put the effort in to get better at the game. Like, okay, so a lot of our content is around ESO.
Yeah.
ESO is fundamentally
an
easy game.
We've had no Skyrim on the channel, but we've talked so much shit.
Yeah. And look, if Skyrim's on the channel, like, you might have to edit the video. I don't, you know. Look,
you know what I kind of want to do now that we're sitting here talking about how easy it is? I kind of just, what if I just do a Skyrim run, like, completely naked? Like, I think I should just do it.
Are you going to be the degenerate that was dancing on the stack of wood in Quebec City?
I think that's the only people who play Skyrim.
All right, yeah, I give you that.
You know, and so what I think look, maybe one day, likely in a while, because I don't feel like going into Skyrim, I'll just play Skyrim vanilla, like no mods.
Yeah.
I'll crank it up to legendary difficulty, and I'll just stroll through the game naked, and I'll wear boots.
Yeah.
And I'll call him, like, I'll make a Khajiit and name him, like, you know, I don't know, fucking Spring Hill Jack from the actual lore character.
Yeah. And
I'll just be like, yeah, I'm Boots McGee or something, and just jump around the whole time and, like, not take fucking anything seriously, because it's not. Like, I'll just grab a weapon, the first one I see, and I'll just keep it for the whole game and win. And I know it's that easy, because, like, once you get to the level that you're killing, like, the World Eater, you're just one-shotting him.
Yeah.
Like, I one-shot him on my mage character. Like, just shot lightning bolt, and Alduin died.
That's yeah.
Like I journeyed to
That's
I journeyed to the afterlife. Like I did that, and I rode a dragon there, and I killed a fucking priest, a dragon priest, not just any priest. Let's be clear, because we don't want to get canceled that hard. I mean, Catholic Church. I killed a dragon priest, and I fucking, like, all this shit. It's like epic. Like, we even captured him inside a keep.
Yeah.
Of Whiterun, a city.
Yeah.
And like that's dangerous, right? Like you should feel that that's dangerous.
Right.
When like you're capturing a dragon inside a city.
Right.
And then you're flying him to the afterlife. But like the whole time I just kind of knew Alduin was dead.
Yeah.
Cuz I shot the dragon and he just fell.
Yeah.
Who I was riding to the afterlife. So like, I already kind of felt it inside me that this wasn't gonna work.
Yeah.
And I flew out there, I made my journey, and then fucking Skullball or whatever stands at the gate and he's like, you have to pass the warrior's test to fight. He says it like that, too.
Yeah.
Fucking Nords. And he's like, alright, I'm gonna hit you with my axe. And I just went, and I was like, alright, we're good now. I walk inside and they're like, Alduin's here! And I was like, oh no! He's dead. Like, all that build up. And remember, I'm the only one who can save the world.
Yeah.
I'm like, but like, as soon as I return, like, like, the guards were waiting for that flower I picked to arrest me.
Yeah.
So, like, you know. Like, I mean, you know, fucking... At least in Oblivion, when you get the Crusader relics, people call you they call you by your name.
Yeah.
Like when you become Arena Grand Champion, people call you by your name. When you become Champion of Cyrodiil, people call you by your name. Like there is a recognition of what you have done.
Yeah.
And then Skyrim's recognition is like, you're Dragonborn. And you're like, yeah. Alright, bye. I'm gonna go kill Alduin for the 4th time. He just loot Pinata now. Like, no, like, it's stupid. It was fucking stupid.
It's all a mess.
I found no difficulty in that game wearing robes. Like, I'm just... Like, at a certain point, I started capping my character myself.
Yeah.
Like, I remember going into Dawnguard afterwards and was like, I'm ready to become, like, a blood-sucking vampire.
Yeah.
And I took it on. And then I was like, oh, I need to get cured because, like, this breaks the game. Like, I was already broken, but now literally nothing can survive one shot.
Yeah.
Like nothing. Like, I walked around the world as a vampire and just shot lightning out of my fingertips and just worlds died.
Yeah.
And then the part that bothered me, like, and like, this is another issue that compounds it all, is that, like, vampirism isn't even scary to the player. Like, when you're a vampire, things get hard, or they should.
Yeah.
Like in Oblivion, or let's go back, Morrowind.
Yeah.
There's fucking nothing you can do as a vampire. Like, people just don't talk to you.
Right.
Like, they're not gonna fucking interact with you, you blood-sucking fiend. Fuck you.
Yeah.
And then in Oblivion, like, you can do shit, but once you get to Vampire Stage 4, people are gonna get afraid of you.
Yeah.
Which is correct.
Right.
Like, you are a fiend at that point. And then you have to suck blood to go back down to Stage 1. Right? So, like, that's the curse. Right. Is that if you continue forward and do nothing malicious, you will become the embodiment of evil anyway.
Right.
So, like you have to do something bad to not become evil.
Right.
And sunlight is a fucking threat. Because at Stage 4, it's like fucking 10 damage a second, just draining at your health the entire day. And then a level 20 character will die in like 2 seconds. It's fucking stupid. And then what they did in Skyrim, their reaction to this was to just not have sun damage to vampires at all.
Right, because every piece of lore states that they can walk around in the sun.
Right, and like, you know, it's funny because the entire plot line of the Dawn Guard is about them blotting out the sun so they no longer have to deal with it.
Right. Because all the damage it's doing to you.
Right, all the zeros.
Yeah.
And like, all right, that's a fucking, like, that's a missed opportunity if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
And then the fucking part that just gets at me, like, really, is that you just don't regen magicka or stamina or health. You don't regen in sunlight. Is that an issue people faced? Because I feel like I have potions.
Right. Yes.
And I
would agree with that statement.
And you know how you can regenerate it all? Go step inside of an inn for a second. Like, if you step inside of a building, you just start regenning. You're outside the sunlight now. Like, the punishment of it, of being something like god tier powerful,
right,
which should have a negative outcome because its power is unholy,
right,
has no repercussions. You're the most vile thing created by Molag Bal to ever walk, like, among the mortal plane. And, like, everyone's just alright with it now.
You know, that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Skyrim's a great game, everybody. You should play it. I'm kidding. If you play it, I'm sorry that you're experiencing it.
It's really entertaining to me that we bash it so much. But I think it's a product of we've played good games. And if I want to watch a movie, I'll watch a movie. If I want to play a game, I would much prefer to play a game.
I mean,
watch a movie.
So you watch Game of Thrones, right?
Yes.
Alright. Skyrim is the last season of Game of Thrones.
It's good.
Like,
it's a hot button topic.
I didn't watch it. I want to make that clear. But I saw that shit burning.
Well, like,
I'm the guy on the other hill playing Elder Scrolls games from the 2000s going, hey, they're having an issue too. Like,
yeah. Yeah.
And that's what it was, though. It was like, that's Skyrim. It's the last season of Game of Thrones. It's Shrek 2 or Shrek 3. You know, the movie the one of them that was bad.
Yeah.
It's the whole one thing. Like, you're looking at a franchise and you go, that one was written by not the people who made these ones.
Yeah.
And then and now we're looking at them making another one.
It's kind of iffy. Like, I'm real worried about it.
I'm honestly, I have a prediction about it, which I hope comes true, and then a realistic prediction. Yeah, I know. But realistically, alright, I think they're just gonna do Skyrim 2. Right?
But they've had 12 Skyrim releases.
They're releasing Skyrim again.
I know.
Which is
asinine.
Which is just real hard.
Hey, go back and re-release Morrowind.
You know what?
Oblivion.
They always said they're not wanting to do it.
Make people play a game.
Yeah, you don't have to make them; they'll want to. That's where it comes in. No, so alright. So realistically, I think it's gonna be Skyrim 2 Electric Boogaloo. But I hope that they realized real quick that if they want the franchise to survive, shit's got to get real.
Yeah.
And Microsoft bought them.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest. I know Microsoft likes money, but I think they like money that comes in repeatedly more than they like Skyrim.
I really hope so.
Skyrim made a lot of money.
Yeah, because it released a dozen times.
No, even the first game of it. The first release was a fucking ton of money.
Yeah.
And like Todd Howard or Pete Hines was it? Pete Hines said, if you don't want us to keep re-releasing Skyrim, then stop buying it.
Right.
Which is...
Give us something else to buy.
Right. Like, look, I get it that you release games every 10 years.
Right.
But maybe put resources where they should be. And then you won't have a 10-year development cycle on an engine that's 30 years old.
Right.
Like, realistically, the engine's 20 years old, man. And that's just how it is.
Too much.
It's too late now, isn't it? We gotta cut it.
Yeah.
You're about to pass out, you old man.
No. It's got life responsibilities in addition to this.
I'm sorry for that. That sounds like it's a real burden. Man, I'm tired of being responsible this week.
So, I hope that anybody listening has gotten. I think maybe the point of this was to demonstrate we're people, you know.
Well, yeah, this is most of what we do.
Yeah.
We go from, talking about North Korea and South Korea and a conflict and World War III era shit, and then we segue real hard into just weird territory, and then we jump the shark hard with Skyrim.
Yeah.
And then we feel better.
Yeah.
I mean, we had confessions, and I'm sorry again, Dad. And now we're here.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be it, cause like we're tired, and this was supposed to be a quick one, but it turned into a Skyrim debate, and with ourselves who both agree with the same point. Like no one's here telling us Skyrim's good. No one's sitting in this room saying I love Skyrim, but like we're just sitting here arguing with that non-existent being.
It's because they're everywhere.
There are people who I just disagree with on a fundamental level.
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid to say that.
No.
Look, if you like Skyrim and you watch this channel, here's your question. Why?
That's a good question.
That's all.
An excellent question.
Yeah, like, what about Skyrim in comparison to the other games even, like, really grabs you?
Right.
Like, what are you doing, man? Alright, like, look, I'm just asking.
Yeah. I feel like it's a good question. I'd like to know the answer.
I'd love to know the answer from, like, a diehard Skyrim guy.
Yeah.
And I want to know, like, if you really love Skyrim, right? What do you think about World War III almost happening? And if you hate Skyrim, what do you think about Spy's confessions on the truck and Don't Tell My Dad?
Oh.
Yeah, so there's 3 questions. Figure yourselves out, and I'll see you guys later. This has been Spy here.
And Jack.
And I'll see y'all later. Bye.